Hi, today's episode is very special. We have with us PK Sundararajan. We call him PK or Dr. PK, the heart and head behind BluArmor, his company, and its spectacular success and growth and scale. So, I want to title this episode, what do you say, Rita, as empathy in armor? Because, I think armor actually means that people always have an armor for strength and for protection, for safety. So, all that is aligned with his brand, and then empathy is aligned with his personality. So, I think that's a wonderful title for us.
I was just about to say armor aligns with blue armor, and from what I heard about him from you, he seems to be an excellent empathetic person. So fantastic empathy in armor. It is.
Lovely. So, tell us a little bit about how you have a spectacular bio. I don't need to research. I grew up with you, and we have this everything. He's done everything right so far. So he went to we went to a very good school, and then he went to the best college in India. He went to IIT, and then he went and did his PhD in computer science, and then he's had a wonderful stint in TI, in cosmic circuits, and now he's started this company, BluArmor, and I want to know more. So tell us more about the company.
Sure. So, I used to be in the semiconductor industry, and that's interesting for a very interesting mix in that on the one hand you're surrounded by phenomenal talent, but on the other hand you never get to see the customer use what you've built. Okay. Right? You're building maybe a chip. That chip goes into some other product, and then by the time somebody experiences it, there is no direct connection between you and the person who is experiencing the product. And I remember 2016, 2015, 16. I looked around the house and I couldn't find one Indian brand that I was using. Right. And it seemed to me that no, maybe I should gravitate away from the semiconductor world a little bit and build a system company or build a product company that builds products for the end consumer. So I first tried to build a washing machine that runs off dirty water. It didn't get very far. Then I tried to build a cooling blanket with the idea that you don't cool the room, you just cool the person. Then I managed to build a decent prototype, but I couldn't really figure out the business case. And then I managed to miniaturize that, at which point I thought, okay, now it's small enough. Maybe I can attach it to something, which is where the motorcycle helmet came in. So I don't really ride motorcycles. And now that I think about it, it seems so ignorant at so many levels because one, I had no idea of cooling solutions. I had no idea of a consumer market. I had no idea of the motorcycle riding customer, but I still thought, yeah, maybe I can go. And I think at that some level, the optimism. That's what IIT teaches you. It doesn't teach you engineering. It at your confidence. So, so you think, oh, I can do whatever I want, and I got started on that. Yeah. Right. So that is one aspect of what was interesting for me to say that, oh, can we be more self-reliant as a country? And somebody like me that's had the best of the system through the years, what can I contribute
To give back.
towards to give back? Maybe is glorifying it a little bit, but can I contribute towards self-reliance?
So, is that when you say you wanted brands made out of India and you want to start a company around that? Will that be one of the reasons you came back? Because you were in the Bay Area and you had a perfect family life there. So coming back to Bangalore, what was the
I think
motivation?
it's a lot of people have asked me this question, and sometimes you do something, it seems so natural when you do it, and only when people ask you questions, you think, oh, I'm supposed to think so much about it.
It's saying very organic to do it. Yeah.
Right. So when I was at doing BTech at IIT, I wanted to come back and teach at IIT. That is what I had as an aspiration. But through the first couple of years of grad school, I felt maybe that's not my cup of tea. But the interest in being here was very high. Right. I felt, yeah, that's what I always was supposed to do. So returning to India after grad school seemed like a very natural thing to do. I really didn't apply for jobs in the US. I applied for a job at TI in Bangalore. They took me in and I just came back. So it was much later when people asked me that I started, in retrospect, started thinking about, yeah, this is what I did.
So you mean to say the process was much more organic? And right now, it was much more.
So, I mean, a good segue here would also be I would like to talk about your wife, Sadhna. I know her from from knowing you as well. So so the actually when you move back, right? When you move back from the US to here, I've done a few moves myself. So I can tell you very confidently there are two players, very key players, right? Protagonists. And usually one is always against it, right? One is like, are you kidding me? We have this wonderful life here. So how did that go? How come she was that must have been very nice that both of you had the same alignment.
See, I've moved back maybe 3 times, right?
Okay.
The first one I was still single, so maybe one body pronoun that. Oh, it's slightly easier to do. The second time also was a one body problem, but that was more driven. I was just getting married at that point. But the group that I was a part of at TI was being closed down. So the position that they had in the US was no longer available. Okay. So I anyway had to switch roles in Bangalore. So that necessitated the move. The third one was more recent when our daughter was maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah,
When
last
Cosmic
one.
was acquired by Cadence.
Cadence, yeah.
So I was managing an engineering team here, maybe of 200 people or so. And my boss felt, managing that team remotely is going to be very challenging. So you really think about whether you want to be here or there. And I wanted to go back. And I think Sadhna felt, yeah, either way is okay. And in that sense, very level headed,
Yeah.
extremely practical, very supportive. So,
It's a good shout out to her
Yeah,
because I think
absolutely, absolutely.
I think in I really have understood that when you're in a especially in a leadership position, right? I think it's very important to have peace and alignment. If you have to fight from within at home itself and try to get your ideas across, because it's hard to do what you want to do.
Yeah, very hard.
Yeah.
And I think,
Uh,
the spouse of an entrepreneur is even harder.
Harder, yeah.
At least the entrepreneur has both the highs and the lows. The
Like because there's no time out. You come back with all the issues every day, and and there are issues that you never even predict. Even if you went to the best college, you're like, seriously, this could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So big shout out to her. I totally agree. So the other aspect of company building is, one was self reliance. The other thing is, each of us has our own understanding of inclusivity, right? And I will tell you my understanding, and that is part of somewhere I think, oh, this is a social activity, is to say that, you know, inclusivity you can treat as there is some asymmetry in opportunity, maybe because of caste, gender, religion, where you studied, whatever. There is something that is being held against you that is not giving you access to opportunity, and that is what inhibits inclusivity. Right now, for me to go change the system, near impossible. But through starting a company, I can say, the people who are employed here can be anything they want to be. And that is the first step towards being inclusive. I say, yeah, you can be whatever, and I'll keep repeating to you that you can be whatever you want to be. No, I'm going to create for you an opportunity where you can thrive.
It's the values that you build as a leader, and it can actually give the autonomy for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And it goes back to something we talked about in IIT also, right? That a lot of limitation comes because in our head we think something is not possible. Somebody says it is possible, then you immediately unlock that capability. And for me, BluArmor is an experiment at that level to take people from different, who've had very, very different, childhoods, who've had very different experiences growing up, and to tell them that no, you commit to pursuing excellence, then I will give you a journey where you get control of your life.
Yeah, we'll give you a safe space.
Right.
I'm also very excited to tell you that there is a lot of conversations about IIT right now. He himself has, PK himself has a daughter who's also trying for that. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the institution as such. I think what all of us know, PK, is that I also studied for it. I think in school it was almost like a, um, you know, it was like a given in our school for some reason that I don't think in most schools, but at least in our school, it's like almost an activity, I say, like a co-curricular activity. Yeah, more than half my class went to IIT. Yeah, so I think all of us went to study in the training schools. We went for basically STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, but we did chemistry, physics separately. And I quit in 11th grade because I think the teachers called my parents and said, I think, this is her curve and she could do it, but she has to really compromise a lot of her time. And I was into dance, I was into dramatics, and I didn't want to change that. So, and also I think it requires a lot of grit, and it requires the long game planning. So, when did you know? How did you? What would you say to kids of today? What do you say to your daughter today? And what has been the impact that IITs had on you?
I think, when you take the IIT entrance exam, right, a lot of people think of it as a test of intelligence. And I don't think that's what it is. It is a test of hard work and perseverance, right? That is really what it is. I mean, if you want to get to All India rank 1, All India rank 2, very, very top, then maybe it's a test of intelligence. But if you're looking to enter the institute, then it is lot more hard work and perseverance and lot less intelligence.
Okay.
Right? That's at least over the years, that's the view I have come to. And I think at some level, whether you get in or not, maybe doesn't matter so much because life expectancy now is maybe 100 years, and life is very non-linear by nature, right? So whether you hit a milestone at 17, at 18, is not the be all or end all of life. But I think there is a lot of value in the process, a lot of value in saying, okay, I will commit to excellence. I will commit to pursuit of excellence. And I understand that excellence doesn't come easy. It takes all of this effort and commitment over a sustained period of time for me to see results. I think if whoever is doing it today can take away that lesson, I think then big achievement. Because whatever you get on to do later, you will carry this learning with you. And I think that learning is more important. I mean, if you get in, fantastic. If you don't, it's not such a big deal, in my opinion.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
So I went to school with the same people you did. And I remember, Amrita, that I actually was close to some people who did not get it. And they went through a lot. I mean, you are also looking at it because you are an XITian, right? You're looking back and saying, hey, you know what? Now that in the long game, it is not a big impact. And maybe even today it's not. But back then, I actually I was talking to some people who went through depression over it. And they kind of started thinking about it as like a life changing event, and they have failed in life or even at the start of life or something. And is that kind of pressure, like, was that, do you remember that kind of pressure pre or post admissions?
I not really. Right. So I am the fourth IITian in my family. Two of my uncles went to IIT. Brother went to IIT. So at some point, it was like, yeah, it's a given. That is what you're supposed to do, right? But I think this maybe is more a question for parents than it is for the students. I feel,
Which you are now.
which I am now.
He has a daughter who's also studying to, she's inspired by her dad and everyone in the family, and she's trying her best. Miku, who's a wonderful dancer, and I mean, you're always so proud of her, right?
Very much, very much. I think I really admire the fighter in her.
Okay.
I think I've been surprised by how much fight there is in that person to say, no, this I really want to do.
And self awareness.
Self-awareness, and how much she's willing to put in to be able to get what she wants. I think wonderful trait. I take inspiration from that.
That's good.
And I think to me, the process is almost always far more important than the result. You trust the process, over time, result will come.
Okay.
And if she can get that learning, then I think it doesn't matter. As a parent, I would think, yeah, you tried, you didn't make it, that's okay. Or you tried, you made it, fantastic. Either way is fine, right? But if you've taken away the value of the process, then whatever you do, you will do very well, right? I think I would encourage parents to take that view, that rather than think of it as a, oh, they mugged for this exam, the exam is the result. The exam is not the result. I mean, that you got into IIT is a early milestone at best,
Oh, sure.
right?
Yeah.
If you start to think of it as a result, then maybe your kid is going to get fatigued very, very fast and burn out. So if you can instead look at the process,
Yeah.
I think then you're setting yourself up for the long term. So maybe that's
Absolutely.
maybe how I see it now.
That's wonderful. But, like having said that, in the US, like Ivy League is very similar to IIT is a global impacted institution, but I think um, it impacts everywhere. Everybody knows about IIT, but I feel um, Ivy Leagues in the US are not so, you go into a room and say you're from an Ivy League, everything is not going to change for you. But things do change for you guys, maybe, as in a not in a in a way where I'm not judging. I'm just asking if there is a they could be like a built-in advantage in some places.
Oh, for sure. I think
Yeah,
maybe the first door opens for you.
the
But
foot in
after
the
that,
door.
yeah, you get a foot in the door.
Yeah,
So let's say you're the child of an actor. Maybe somebody gets you a first opportunity.
and then it's on your own.
After that, it's on you. So that's maybe the difference, right? I wouldn't classify it higher than that. And I think that difference is also maybe with time. See, you look at successful companies today,
Mhm.
and you see which colleges are these people alumni of, right? And you will start to see a smattering of colleges. And now each of those colleges will say, see, these are the people you can look up to,
Absolutely.
right? And they in turn will open doors. So I think that maybe as a result is starting to get diluted over time, because there's so many cases of people doing really well without an IIT degree,
Mhm.
right? So I think there is the value of the process. There is the value of being surrounded by incredible people. You spend 4 years in a hostel surrounded by very smart people,
I can imagine.
right? And
I was just about to come to that.
uh-huh.
Yeah, please continue. I was just about to come to that, um, the fact about IIT, I wanted to ask you, how would you differentiate? Because what you said does make a point that there are a lot of people who are coming from different colleges and they're still making it. So how would you differentiate IIT that way?
So I think I'll maybe give you a slightly long answer. I think of our school also the same way, that so we went to Padma Seshadri in Chennai, which I still think is one of the best schools in
Oh, yeah.
Chennai, right? And for me, it was not the curriculum so much, but the fact that you were surrounded by fantastic talent,
Years.
right? I mean, you take any activity, can be academics, can be sports,
It's just
dramatics,
never only studies.
yeah,
It was
right?
just everything.
Everything, every aspect you take, you will find a superstar.
So you say that the peers are actually, helping you compete, or they are motivating you to think better, so that, you have better peers, so better competitors, which makes for better players. Is that
I think maybe
Not
maybe
in a
what
competitive sense. It's more about the basically in that age, Amrita, peers do define who you are. Yes, you do have an individualistic personality, but if you are surrounded by a lot of creativity, which we were, a lot of creativity, we had like you name it, that particular craft, or we had to make so much out of our hands. Like, I don't think my children work so much with their hands. I mean, we had to make so many things like forts and dams, and every day we had to make something, paper mills and everything. I think creativity, even if you're not creative by nature,
it encourages you?
yeah. So
So
I think just taking off on what Vidya was saying, no, I also agree with her. With the peers, it's not so much competition, but I think it is more learning what is possible, because you get extremely contrarian views. So when you learn to understand that, oh, that contrarian view can exist,
yeah.
and sometimes you re-examine your views and say, oh, maybe that is the way to think about it.
yeah,
That could be how you solve a problem, can be how you think about maybe politics, it can be how you think about just about everything.
everything.
And that broadens your mind, that then you become open to many different types of solutions. So life at the end of the day is about problem solving, right? You encounter a problem, you have to figure out how to solve it. The more open your mind is, the more likely you are to embrace different ways of solving the problem. That I think you get really equipped with if you're surrounded by talent. because they constantly push you to question whether yours is the only view
Way
that can
of
exist.
thinking. I also wanted to pull in into that particular fact that you said that IIT is just a milestone. It is not the end of life, because there are a lot of students who crack IIT, and after that, the gradient slope actually goes downwards instead of upwards. What we usually hope, if someone has cracked IIT, the idea is that the gradient slope will go up. But there are a lot of cases where the gradient slope goes down and they're struggling. I wanted to
Are
ask
they?
you, some of them are. Some of them,
Yeah, there are definitely cases of
some of them
burnout.
are.
Yes,
Some of them are.
absolutely.
And some of them are because the pressure is very different.
Are you talking about performance in the overall thing where you're comparing a person now who's doing is it performance based comparison, or is it like as a human being they're not doing well? What are you saying?
The performance. The
Okay.
performance. So what happens is that they have cracked, which is one of the toughest exams, and after that they actually struggle when they are in IIT. They're not able to cope up. So what do you think about that, or where does that come from?
See, I think I mean you take me today, right? I'm 48 years old. I still ask myself year on year, what did I learn last year? How did I get better this year than I was last year? And if I don't get a compelling answer, I worry that, how much value am I adding?
Adding.
Now, you would think that learning goes by compounding. So the key years are the ones when you're young. So in that 17 to 21 window, when you're in college, if you're not compounding your learning, then at that point you start to fall behind quite a bit.
Okay.
Right? So great credit to you that you cracked an exam, but you just happen to enter a place. Now you have to make it count.
Oh.
Right? If you don't make it count, then what will happen? Sometimes I feel that, right? When somebody introduces me, they say that, oh, he got this IIT JEE rank. And I think, oh, is that my only achievement in life? So you have to go back 30.
People still remember the rank, and like it's as if like you have a number and that is your identity.
Yeah, you think, right? That's 30 years ago that I wrote one exam well is the only thing I have to my credit, right?
But it is one of the, there can be no argument on the fact, Vidya, that it is one of the toughest exam to crack.
Yeah.
And the process, it's not just about, like you said, it's not about the exam that you're cracking. It's also about the process, that entire 1 year of keeping yourself focused. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult for us right now with so much social media, so much distraction. It's very difficult for us to keep focus. So keeping focus and getting through that exam, I think it's definitely something that should be valuable. So
I think, you're not from Tamil Nadu, so you might not get the Rajinikanth connections. I'm a very big Rajinikanth fan.
okay.
And he had this speech where he said something very interesting. He said, you climb one mountain. Before you can climb the next mountain, first you have to come down. Then you can climb the next.
And next one.
And you have to embrace that, yeah, I have to keep.
Such a humble, I mean, there's just nobody like he's so humble, and it's such a good philosophy because you just can't keep hopping from one mountain to the other. You'll fall and crash. You have to come down. Such a beautiful
You
thing.
can also say, this mountain I've climbed, I'm done, right?
He's actually a phenomenal speaker. No?
Very good.
You would never, I mean, like as an actor and a speaker.
I think that self-deprecating humor is very high.
Yeah.
And reading of the world is also very good.
Yeah, and there's something about the speech where it's always so insightful if you can go catch it. Yeah.
I think something of the fact that also he has a varied life experience.
Yeah.
I think that makes very interesting stories. If you have the thing about mountains that you said, once you come up, you have to again come down. So when you have varied experience in life, if you come from a certain strata, your experience will be monotonous after some time. But if it keeps going down, rolling up and down, your experiences will be quite varied.
Yeah.
So I think that makes for lovely stories. So there are a couple of questions I was really interested when I was looking through a BluArmor website. It was so interesting. But you mentioned that you don't ride bikes. So can you please tell me, how did you come across this wonderful thing? I think there is an RFID mesh technology where bikers can talk to each other. And there is a technology of cooling, which initially you started with. So how did you conceive this? How did you conceive of these ideas?
So we are now an 8-year-old company, right? So we've had maybe multiple iterations of learning through which we've now have a fire. So what I didn't know 8 years ago, now I know in terms of, oh, this is how a rider thinks, this is what is valuable to them, this is the right problem to solve. 8 years ago, I didn't know that very well. Okay, that is on the one hand. Now let's say you're going talking to somebody, you're telling them that I've built a cooler for a helmet. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 people will come and tell you, fantastic idea is going to fly off the shelves. Because you think very hot country,
Yes.
oh, everybody is worried about sweat. So product is instant success.
Yeah.
Right? But then you build it, you realize, no, there's a price point gap, there's a technology gap, the word of mouth is really not happening. So what we were able to do was, we were able to reduce sweating by 50%, which is not the same as removing sweating. Right? And in a
But
user's
that's
mind,
very good.
yeah, but in a user's mind, removing is 100 times more valuable than reducing.
Reduce it.
So the word of mouth doesn't kick in at all. So people would either love the product or they would hate the product. And we said, okay, at this point, we have to acknowledge that maybe the technology allows us only to reduce, not remove, and word of mouth is not going to kick in. So we have to pivot away from that. As we went through that experience, we got a far better sense of this is what will work. Right? Because as we talk to riders, they tell us, yeah, but why don't you try to build, anyway, you guys look like technology guys. Why don't you try to build this product? You hear it so often that you think, okay, that's maybe the space I should go after. So I would think learning through mistakes is maybe how we've gotten to where we are today.
Where you are today. So this is an innovation-based company.
Mm.
In innovation-based company, what happens? There are a lot of experiments. Like you said, we first did this and we were not sure how people would conceive it. And there were multiple people who loved the product. But some of them were like, if it's just reducing, how is it? If I'm paying so much and it's just reducing, it's not solving my problems. So the highs are good, but how do you deal with the lows?
Interesting question, and I maybe is worth looking at it at different phases of the company. So and I think I'd like to think of myself as an engineer first. So a technical problem really doesn't bother me so much, right? You solve it, you don't solve it, either way is okay. The implications of a business failure versus success is far more severe because one, now you have so many other families who are on this journey with you, and you feel accountable for, let's say we have 125 employees. Now there are 125 families that somewhere depend on this success to be able to, carry the whatever their needs are, right? So when we started, which is let's say 2017 to 2019, I'd just come off Cadence, where I was running a large team. So I went to IIT, or I went to Padma Seshadri, did really well. Went to IIT, did very well. I wanted to learn something. I wanted to learn the Mridangam. It came naturally. Played cricket. I captained the school team. Came naturally. I went into IIT. No problem. At IIT, I spent very little effort, but I did quite all right. Right? Grad school was very similar. And I, likewise, TI, Cosmic, Cadence, all of these places, very good, very high performer, typically rated very, very high, that I hadn't had a taste of failure or a public failure until I started BluArmor, right? And for me, the first 2 years were really about learning to accept that failure and saying, no, it's not really a bad thing that, you take such an audacious step, you don't know the market, you don't know the customer, you don't know the technology, and you think you can still do it. Maybe you need a reality check.
It's probably not a failure, it's probably a setback,
Yeah,
right? It's failure is too strong a word because there is really no failure in a startup.
yeah. I mean, there are failed businesses,
Failed
there is failed
business, but
entrepreneurs.
that's, yeah,
So that I agree with, right? So let's say setback. Right?
setback, yeah.
Uh,
This is how you have never had setbacks. He's like, OG person. Where is your feet? Nothing has ever failed. So obviously, this is like something that would be like, what is happening here?
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Seriously,
And
yeah,
for me to make peace with that took
yeah.
a long time. To say that, oh, this is what a setback feels like. And self doubt comes in. You start to wonder, oh, did I make a big mistake by trying to do this? I thought everybody will like this, and all of these guys are coming and complaining about the product. And at some level, I'm able to also see why they're complaining, and I don't have an answer, right? So you're in that space where you're acknowledging that, okay, I have messed up. I can also see I have messed up from a business perspective, that, yeah, I'm also able to see that business wise, this is not going to grow. And what do I do? Getting past that self doubt was for me maybe first level of or first point of self growth, I would say, at that point where I felt like, okay, one new dimension got added to me, the ability to take a setback, be patient to traverse through that setback and recover from it, right? At that point we were still small, 5 6 people, maybe 10 people, so the cost of a setback also was very small.
So this is actually a mental health call out, because this is could be even a disadvantage that you fail very late in life. So fail early, fail often, just learn to deal with it, because you've got to get up and move the next day. There's no one coming to, change the story, right? Because it's a negative thing. If you never fail until like you're like going.
Your muscles stay good if you keep exercising, right? Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think it also builds resilience. So, what happens, I think, mostly once you fail, you start to observe the thing from an outside perspective also. Initially, when you are building a product, you see the object from inside perspective, that I like it. Okay, so it should work. So when the product is not doing that well, so you start thinking from third person's perspective, that okay, as a customer I might not like it because of number 1, number 2, number 3. So I think it builds a resilience also, and it gives a reality check, grounding us. These are also certain things that failure teaches us.
Yeah. I think everything you say, I agree with. And it's a good journey to go through, right? Just to be able to stay grounded, ask yourself the right questions before you take the next step. I think I was maybe very, very reckless in some of the steps I took in the early days of BluArmor.
You are always so hard on yourself. It's not reckless. I think you are, let's say, confident. Again, let's bring in the confidence measure. He was just a confident person.
Okay, I was maybe far more confident than the situation was.
Now I'm watching his confidence.
Right? But to me, it was a call out to say that, oh, maybe next time you answer all these questions before you take the next steps.
Next step,
Right?
yeah.
So that was phase one. Then about 12 months ago, last year, we launched what was our flagship product, right? And at this point, we'd been 7 years in existence. And it is a product that we really loved because a lot of hard work had gone into building it. And we were very, very excited about how it had come together, right? Uh, I think the one mistake I made, and that's on me, is maybe we launched 3 months before we should have, right? So we launched in August, and then the next 3 months were just pure hell because we took pre-orders. We had number of uh, engineering slash manufacturing issues.
You were backed up.
We were backed up, and things that had, sometimes when it rains, it pours, right? And there were a series of problems that from some suppliers that we'd never encountered before. All of that went wrong. That we had a bunch of engineering issues, panic set in. So a lot of systems that we'd put in place started to crumble. And those 3 months were extremely difficult, right? And I remember, the two examples that I want to share. One, was this person Rohit in the company. Rohit was the front face of customer support, right? And one day I walked into the office. He was talking to a customer, and I could sense that the customer was yelling at him. And I was, I had this feeling, oh, what situation have I put this person under, right? That is my action that's resulted in this person being in the situation. He finished the call, and he was like, yeah, I think it's under control. We just need to do this. It'll be fine. The amount of energy I got watching him was just so incredible that I felt, oh man, I should get inspired by the way he's approaching it. He's far more practical about the whole thing. And now, it's a bunch of actions. We take the actions and we move on.
Yeah.
Right? That was one.
It's not personal.
It's not personal.
So, yeah.
Then there was the other aspect was we were debugging these engineering problems. Right? Those days were very long. So I would come into work at 8:30. I would leave at about 9:30, 10 in the night. So there was this engineer Vishnu who was debugging something with me. I would start driving home at 9:30. and it's a 1.5 hour drive for me. So 9:30, I talk to him in the office. I start driving. I reach home at 11. I will call him at 11 to ask for updates from that last 1.5 hours. And then the next morning, when I go back at 8:30, he will be in the office. And his energy was much higher than mine. And I also felt, this guy is at some level a kid, 5 years, 6 years experience. For him to own the customer so much, for him to own that commitment so much, I should learn from, right? And I think I'm giving you two examples, but to me, that period was when I felt, okay, as a team, the customer centricity in each of these people is so high that now collectively, okay, we had a fall. Let's get up. Let's fix it. Let's move forward. So I think there was a low, and I think following that low, I got the sense that okay, as a team, maybe we can go far because our heart and head are both in the right place, right? That's the second one. Maybe the last one I would like to talk about is if I cut to today, right? Uh, Within maybe a 1 hour span, I would get two messages praising the product, two messages which are like, you have zero intelligence, you're full of shit. And I think social media removes all filters, right? People shoot first and then think much later.
It's easier to talk behind behind the username because no one really knows you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right?
It's actually a lack of, lack of identity, right? So there's also lack of courage. You don't need to, you can say anything because
You're CA under hiding. So no one really knows you.
The third aspect of failure I want to talk about pertains to today, where we find ourselves today. And, maybe a 1 hour snapshot of a weekday for me now is filled with a couple of customers saying, oh, I really love the product. It works great for me. And then a couple of others who go on social media and say, this is useless, this company is useless, faltu company, broad company, just about every negative connotation you can think of, right? And uh, earlier it used to be very hard for you to think, if we're working this hard and we're being labeled with things that we don't want the association at
Do
all.
you think it's because that, with social media, what happens? We are a username. Okay. I don't know you personally. You don't know me personally. So, do you think it's because of that it is easier for people to make negative comments?
Absolutely, right? But I also think that is not so much for me to worry about, right? People are going to be whatever they are.
Yes.
For me, the takeaway now, and that's where I have found some peace, is to look at, okay, this is what they're saying. Do we have a system to handle it? Maybe it's a genuine thing, maybe it's not genuine. If it's not genuine, we don't need to worry about it. If it's genuine, what is our system to take care of it? Do we have a system in place? So the minute I started thinking about it that way, I felt like, okay, we are going towards a state of control that this will hopefully become less and less with time. Sometimes what happens is one of our customers will step in, address the issue, saying, no, I have used the product. What you're saying is not true.
Okay.
But I think important for us to say, no, this is how we manage issues of this nature. Let's say 2 years down the line, we might be 3x, 4x bigger. Is our infrastructure scaling at that pace to be able to better and better handle this? Once I started thinking about it, I felt a lot more peaceful.
Peaceful. Oh, so you mean to say the fact that you left semiconductor B2B to come to B2C, so you're completely fulfilled by your recent work, right?
Oh yeah. I think the joy of having a customer experience what you've built. Even today, when I'm driving to office, if I see our product on the road, that 10 seconds of joy is just immense. Right? And I've had a conversation with so many colleagues who've all sort of repeated the same thing that, my parents ask me what I do, and then one day we're driving, I show them this is my product. It makes such an impression on that, right? So I love that aspect of what we do. That we are a B2C company on the road. We can see people using our product.
Yeah, I have a segue here on BluArmor. So, do you have any 5 year, inside vision, or now because of all the AI conversations, any AI use case that specifically anybody you want to discuss or you want to throw it out to? Maybe you guys are thinking about it because it is actually certain devices are closed and they have less space. So, as you said, the impact may not be that much. So, with AI, do you think that would change?
See, I think it's interesting. Okay, when you talk about vision, no, I go back to this example. You both of you know Sony, right? So Sony, do you know what Sony's vision is as a company? So Sony was, Morita-san, who was one of the founders of Sony, in the mid 1950s. He had to come up with a vision statement for Sony. This was after the atom bombs, and Japan was trying to recover from all of that. And he decided that Sony's vision will be to make Japan known for quality. It is not to say Sony will become some electronics some company. Sony will sell.
It's about the bigger picture. It's about the long game. It's about where he belongs and
Right.
giving back to the country.
That is one. The other
Amazing.
thing is, if I say, oh, this is what I want BluArmor to be, then at some level it feels like for somebody else it becomes, oh, that is PK's thing. So, what is there for me to participate? And so when I think of vision, for me, it is, can we make India to be known for tech products? Right? I think that is what quality tech products. That's the vision I want to work towards. And it's the same thing that we talked about when we talked about IIT and individuals, right? We have to trust in the process. And a lot of people ask me this, right? Oh, this helmets for motorcycle riders that you're building some communication thing seems very niche. What is your total available market? Can the business really scale? I see it very differently. I think of it as, no, we are learning how to do something well, right? Building a technology product is very difficult because from industrial design to software to manufacturing, you are owning that full experience. So many things can go wrong. You're figuring out how to do each of them well. Once you figure it out, you can do anything. Maybe tomorrow we will build an augmented reality glass. Maybe we will build something. We don't have to be constrained by, we are only in this space.
That's it. That is so sorted because it's just not about the product or the purpose. It's more about the purpose.
Yes, the purpose and the process.
Once you're
Maybe
aligned,
you can branch out as well. Like Hermes, initially they were a horse tag company. Hermes, Hermes, Coach, they were horse tag companies. And now they make Birkin and all these things. So who would have envisioned that, a person who is making saddles for horses, essentially, they are making the most expensive purses available right now. So maybe you can branch out as well. But I wanted to draw you into this question. You spoke about personal failures and how you rose from personal failures and how you handle yourself. But in an innovation based company, your engineers are also innovating. Okay. And they too face failures.
Correct.
Okay. Especially in a product based company, they might be working on a particular product and that product doesn't work. Like you worked on that cooling blanket and you found out there's a gap in pricing and how do you motivate them in such situation?
So it's an interesting question, and maybe to me it goes back to the IIT example. So I would think there are two places to motivate, right? One is to say, yeah, play the long game, process is important, right? To say that you keep trusting the process, even if it fails today, it will work tomorrow, right? That is one aspect. The second aspect is the technical know, where I say, okay, I've worked with a number of smart people over time. I know where people get stuck. And you would have seen this with good teachers, right? When they teach, they will focus on, this is usually where the student gets stuck.
take away her. His mom is one of the most spectacular teachers I've ever had. Not just brilliant, but so kind. She's just an amazing teacher, and I think she's taught so many of us. Call out to Geeta
Call out
aunty.
to her. And I think interesting that as I watch my mom teach,
Yeah.
I was trying to teach a friend's kid some physics for 9th standard. I wasn't making much progress. Then my mom taught him, and dramatic improvement.
Because she knew where
Her
it was
se-
going to start.
Her sense of, oh, this is where you're struggling, really, really.
It's also an outside in thing because she's more aware of this whole process from the kid's perspective.
Exactly. Right. So now
We are more aware of how our teaching is reaching. So it's a teacher is so used to because over the years of experience, they know how each child receives it.
correct. So you take exactly what she said, right? The teacher's value comes from awareness built over time of, this is where a student struggles. As a mentor for me, my know-how comes from, I've seen smart people over 25, 30 years. I've seen where they've succeeded, where they've gotten stuck. That knowledge I will impart to you and you get stuck. So those are the two aspects of combating failure or combating setbacks, where you say one is a trust the process, do the right things, reward will come.
Yeah.
We live in an instant gratification world, so it's important to teach patience right? And I have to do that by example. That I say, see, I'm willing to wait these 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, however long it takes to build something, because I think it takes that time. The second aspect is learning from everybody around us and saying, this is my learning. I'm going to condense it and give it to you in terms of, oh, this is maybe where you're getting stuck. This might be what you want to try and do. And I think that's worked really well. I have a little bit of teacher in me, and I really like that aspect of
Yeah, he does.
able
You
to
go and teach even now. You record the sessions sporadiety, and he's still, I think, scratching the rich, legacy of his mother, I must say.
correct.
Okay, quickly, not rapid, but rider fire for you. So, first one. So, most bikers in India are all under 50.
Wrong.
No?
I would say 50-50, under 50 and above 50.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of
Okay.
people who say, yeah, this is my passion, I want to pursue it now.
Second one, most bikers are usually adrenaline junkies and reckless.
Very wrong. I would say there's maybe 5% that's an adrenaline run. So you think of hiking, bicycling, marathon running, motorcycling comes under the same category.
But going up to Leh or Ladakh and taking a selfie like that, which most people.
Oh, that is not, you're not feeding adrenaline, right? You're committing to a lot of pain. So it's a
That is long term, this thing, long term satisfaction. You go all the way and then you click that selfie.
It really has
Like things have changed a bit. That's why. Okay. Next one. How true are these for you? Do you ride yourself? Not a childhood dream. You said already no, right?
I used to ride in college. I had a Kawasaki Bajaj 100, but that was the last bike I owned.
Okay. So, PK, you're a voracious reader. Any favorites? Any favorite one book?
1,000 Brains.
By?
Author's name I don't remember, but that book made such a big impression on me.
He is the best summary person for books, and he's started a book club everywhere he goes. So, what's your idea of retirement quickly?
No retirement, work till you die.
What?
Yeah. What is all this retirement talk?
For BluArmor and all the guys who are using stuff, as well as for you, what is the most favorite destination in India today to ride into the sunset?
To ride into the sunset, I think Sikkim is very nice. Leh. I think the northeast itself, Meghalaya, Sikkim, they're all beautiful places. Arunachal Pradesh, beautiful places to ride. Pollachi or the Western Ghats.
Pollachi?
Yeah. Pollachi has some lovely bends. The Western Ghats, again, that's also very, very beautiful. In Karnataka, again, a set of lovely roads to ride. Lot of options if you're riding.
It's amazing. Okay, what is the one thing? I'm sure there are lots, but what is the one thing you're proud of about your daughter Miku the most? I call her Miku, and she's a beautiful Bharatanatyam dancer and a very studious girl. But what is the thing that you love about your daughter the most, like the proud about the most?
I think that she's a fighter. That is what I really like.
Fighter spirit.
Yeah, the fighter spirit is what I love.
Okay, that's awesome. And so you have this whole new world in you and other interests, and I'm so jealous that you have this whole world, and it's so nice to have that passion, the bird watching, of taking pictures. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think is again, I told you that my uncles all went to IIT, my brother went to IIT. So on my wife's side, her uncles are all fantastic photographers. My co-brother is a fantastic bird photographer. One of my closest friends is into bird watching a lot. So in that sense, the combination of bird watching and photography, I've watched people enjoy bird watching. I've watched people take fantastic photographs. So I've been dabbling with it. I'm not great at it, but I do all right. Right. And phenomenally calming time.
Experience?
A phenomenally calming experience because you have to be very, very patient. The bird is not going to pose for you. So, you take your time, you wait, and then you get that one shot.
It's almost like going fishing, I think. There is the personality type which can do all this. You got to be very patient.
Absolutely.
That brings me to another question. Most CEOs I know have a very unique skill, or not skill, I would say actually a quirk or something, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, because you got to get there, you've got to have that hardened personality. But I find you very, giving, soft, warm. That's one side of you. But if you have to talk about one thing, because it's a mental health podcast, an OCD that you have, something that's non negotiable at work, what would that be?
What is non-negotiable at work?
Yeah, like you will not accept that. I'm really
I think
obsessive about
in
that.
life itself, I'm very particular about it. Abuse of math to me is it riles me when Sadhna keeps asking me this question. If I was born in 1977, how old am I? I'd be like, oh, and please don't ask me that. So, that's torture. That's a beauty here. That is torture to me. If somebody abuses math, so anybody presents a table to me, I'll first add the numbers. I will see if it matches up.
Yeah,
If numbers guy, then I feel like, oh, come on, or not.
and the way he even sometimes I talk to him about behavioral, just life problems, life issues, just to take his what does he say? Everything, he not only has an engineering bent of mind, he's a very mathematical bent of mind. He will not only divide it into steps, but he'll somehow tell you, there will be math in that. I know there'll be math in that explanation somewhere.
Yeah,
They would,
but
and I love math too. It'll always make sense to me because the quickest, way to connect anything. This is the percentage of stuff, and only these many people are using it.
yeah, absolutely.
Probably it is not the smartest of me to come asking for a job then, because I whip up my calculator for even 2 plus 2. Okay, let me check. Is it still 4? You have a job here. Oh, very good. You're telling me you could go to him for a job? This,
What is this word podcast? She's already your fan.
So, PK, I have heard from Vidya so much about you and she keeps praising. But can you tell me a little bit about your friendship and how you came to know about her and how you people developed this friendship? I'm really interested in the backstory.
Sure. So Vidya, is the superstar from school. She's a diva from the day she was born. So yeah, and we were, I think, classmates in 6th standard, 7th standard, and then
11th and 12th, yeah.
11th and 12th, our school had this code thing that they had 3 different codes for exams.
Mhm.
Our roll numbers were 3 numbers apart. She was, I think, 34, I was 37. So we would have the same code and we would discuss answers after the exam and stuff, right? But she was cultural secretary at school. So there was when you look at dance, you look at dramatics, you look at the ability to take organizational leadership, a lot of things to look up to there. Right. And I think I used to sit 1 row or 2 rows behind her.
Behind me.
Right. So is you have the standard banter in the school that is very hard to 30 years later it looks very childish. But okay, we used to do those fun things together. So that way, I think there was some bond built.
We definitely became much better friends
After.
after college than before. I mean, in school there was a big taboo, Amrita, where when we were growing up, it was like when we were younger, it was okay in middle school and all that, but in high school you can't really talk to a boy without getting booed, right? Oh, everybody will boo you, like, oh, PK talking to Vidya and all that. It's quite demented.
Plus, with their superstar, no, you're a little afraid to go talk to her. Right? Anyway, so that is that. And I think later on we've connected again. And then we've had several deep conversations on just about every topic you can imagine.
Both are very, we are not that, small talk kind of people. We like to, any problem we'll talk about, and his family. So it's his wife. So it's easier for me to be friends with everyone. And I think it's,
Yeah, and one of the lines I liked in the website is the line about irreverent humor, which I think characterizes her quite correctly. Every once in a while, she erases that sentence from left field. You think, oh, what the just, right? And only she can say it and get away with it. Or somebody else says it, you'll be like, no, that's not how you can speak, right?
that's wrong.
And I think a sense of very perceptive ability to nail, oh, this is where you're in mental spaces, very good. And I think ability to read situations also very, very strong. Right. Those are all aspects I really like. Right. And, we talked about failures and stuff. Right. I remember we were in the car together returning from a friend's place, and she was like, you don't look all right. And it was the first time somebody had asked me that in a while, and I was like, oh, I was so thankful somebody is asking me. Yeah, I have all these problems, right? But I've leaned on her for that, and I
Me too. Like I've had, because you have a long friendship over the years, everybody who go ups and downs, you do share. And also he gives a lot of good counsel with respect to, okay, these are the options. These are what you can do, whether he's just a very um, reasonable person.
He's the right person for empathy in Armor. Yeah, now I understand how this empathy came into picture. Yes. So, yeah, thank you so much.
yeah, what, yeah, what.
Alright.